Hello. Hello, everyone. We are live once again, back to multiple live streams per week. So we're going to be going over just daily market news. We'll go over some of that. We can check some prices. Bitcoin has dropped in the last couple of days. We can go over some of that. 1 second as I make sure the stream is all good. Okay. Okay, perfect. So we should all be good to go. So we can jump into our first link here. Here we go. So here we go. Okay, everything's working. Okay, first clip we have today here. We'll switch this to the better. Here we go. Crypto czar David Sachs says, I think what's going to happen is after the market structure passes, banks will get fully into the crypto industry. Here we go. Watch this clip. It's a short one.
A good compromise is everyone leaves a little bit unhappy, right? But I think what's going to happen is that after market structure passes, the banks are going to get fully into the crypto industry. So we're not going to have a separate banking industry and crypto industry. It's going to be one digital assets industry. And I think
and will they be regulated
their opinions are going to evolve over time. And I bet you over time, the banks like the idea of paying yield because they're going to be in the stablecoin business.
But will they also be regulated the same way? And I guess that's a big, I mean, the banks will say, hey, if they get to do all the same things we do, how come they don't get regulated the same way?
Well, I guess because they're offering slightly different products, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, everyone offering the same product should be regulated in the same way, and we want to get to that harmonization. A good compromise is everyone leaves a little bit unhappy.
Yeah, we'll see how these banks start picking up crypto one by one. A lot of them are offering already ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum. You'll slowly start seeing more coins and just more inflow to those. A lot of people are like, some people do prefer holding their Bitcoin through the bank. Obviously, since it is insured by the bank, you don't have to run the risk of self-custody and potentially losing your keys, getting hacked, keeping it on an exchange, the exchange goes down. There's a lot of things like that that'll just wild cards. But obviously, if you do buy it through the bank, you're not holding your own crypto. It's just the bank buys the crypto, obviously ETF. But yeah, there are multiple ways, but it does add an easy entry for people to invest in Bitcoin and just start getting exposed to crypto through the banks, which is nice to see. I've seen this clip bouncing a lot. This was a couple hours ago. President Trump says he hopes to sign the crypto market structure bill Clarity Act soon. So he's been talking about this for a couple months now about revamping the financial system and seeing how a crypto fix could be that solution. So we'll see what he says here.
To unleash innovation in savings and financing, I'm also working to ensure America remains the crypto capital of the world. And to that end, last year, I signed the landmark Genius Act into law. Now Congress is working very hard on crypto market structure legislation, Bitcoin, all of them, which I hope to sign very soon, unlocking new pathways for Americans to reach financial freedom. And I did it for two reasons. Number one, I thought it was politically good, and it was. I got tremendous political support. But more importantly, China wanted that market too. It's just like they want the AI. and we've got that market, I think, pretty well locked up. If I didn't do it, Biden was totally against it until before the election when they realized that, there were millions of people voting against him over crypto. And all of a sudden they loved it very much, but it was too late. They blew it. But it is politically popular, but it's much more importantly, we have to make it so that China doesn't get the hold of it. And once they have that hold, we're not going to be able to get it back.
Yeah, I don't know. It almost seems like he's pushing this just so China doesn't, like, obviously he's just, every clip of him talking about this new act or any new structure bill, he's talking about the US being the crypto capital of the world, which I agree it is, but obviously China's very well versed in crypto also. So yeah, it's almost like, well, obviously he's just doing it for political reasons, but obviously this does affect Bitcoin or the crypto industry very well, since the more countries who are fighting for this and like on a race to become the crypto capital, that just benefits crypto because more people get adopted into it through banks, through buying, just through general news. Like the more people get exposed to Bitcoin, the better. Well, obviously crypto in general. Oh, here we go. Next here. So this was how long ago? This was at 10. So this was like 2 hours ago. Yeah. Exactly 2 hours ago. $50 billion added to the crypto market in less than 60 minutes. I believe we've dipped after this. We can jump into a trading view chart. I haven't really went over it too. Yeah, here we go. Bitcoin is currently dipping. That was at like 90K. So we're down 2% since there. You can see in the past couple of days, this is the daily Bitcoin chart. You can see we hit a high. I think this was a couple days ago. This was on the 14th. Hit a high of 98. It was almost seeming like we were gonna go crack 100K again, but we've been dropping. Obviously, a lot of this news based from the tariff news. There's a lot of new tariff news with Trump and the US. The whole Greenland, trying to take over Greenland issue, where he's putting tariffs on other countries who are getting in the way of him taking control of Greenland, which is crazy news. But yeah, we were all the way down to 90 or 87. So we'll see. We did fill a gap. There was, I don't know if I saved the tweet, but we did fill a gap. I'm not sure on what time frame. A gap down here. I believe maybe it's this gap. We already filled this one though. Maybe we could check a weekly. No. Maybe on the 4 hour. But yeah, there's some, I think this gap right here actually. Right here. I can show it better off. Oh, it's a little hard to see here. This gap right here obviously dropped lower, but this 4 hour gap right here topped it. We did go lower. We haven't went lower than these liquidity points, but we'll see how it continues to go. But yeah, with the news, maybe we'll see a turnaround. He is, I think, let me just see. I think I did save it here. But here, yeah, I guess the next week, we could just jump into the next tweet. President Trump says that Bitcoin and crypto market structure legislation will unlock new pathways for Americans to reach financial freedom. I don't know, not much to say on this. Obviously, he's just pushing Bitcoin. The more structured legislation, obviously, the more exposed everyone is to Bitcoin. But we'll see how that continues to go. Obviously, people like when Bitcoin's at a higher price, so we'll see how it continues this year. Obviously, a lot of people saying we are in a bear market currently, so we'll see how that continues to go. But yeah, this was a lot of the news also here. The EU pulls the plug on US trade deals amid Greenland dispute. This is mainly why a lot of things are dropping currently. This happened on the weekend, or well, I don't know if this exactly happened on the weekend. It's probably just new, but this whole issue has been going on for a couple days now, probably about a week. So that's why you can see the change in the market following this, these trade stops and the what's it called, the tariff news. But yeah, here's on some better notes. Here, I have another clip, I think one more clip of Brian Armstrong saying that only the top 10 fiat currencies will endure. The rest will be dollarized or swapped to Bitcoin. It's a short clip.
I'll take a different take, which is I think the top 10 fiat currencies of the world will have enough trust to persist, and the next 100 should either get dollarized or replaced by Bitcoin.
Honestly, not a bad take, honestly. Like, obviously, the top 10 fiat currencies, like the dollar, and obviously under that, either swapped by Bitcoin is a good option. Obviously, the higher Bitcoin goes, the more, I guess, stable it gets, but we'll see how that continues. Or just swapped by the dollar. This does push a good amount of like power to the dollar, which translates hopefully into Bitcoin. So we can see how this goes. Obviously, this isn't a soon to happen kind of thing. Obviously, there's a lot of weak currencies, but we can see how that continues to go throughout the next couple of years, seeing how crypto and Bitcoin perform. Yeah, this was, I think, an hour ago. Bitcoin just broke above 90K, which we can check here on the hourly chart. Yeah, right here, or right here. This is the current hour. The last hour at 11 dropped 3% in 1 hour, which is crazy. I wasn't even watching. I just saw this randomly. Like, we were at 90, like not a bad spot. And then boom, dropped 3% all the way down to 87, or now we're at 87. Yeah, we're still at around 87. We're almost back at 88, but we'll see how this continues to go. Hopefully we see some sort of reversal in the next couple days as Bitcoin continues to react to the news, this tariff news and Greenland stuff. So we'll see, like, obviously these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row of red candles. We were on a nice uptrend to back up towards 100K. Obviously, I don't think all of this is to do with the news, but a majority is. Like, you see these huge candles. Like yesterday, we dropped all the way from 92.5 to 88. These are huge moves. But yeah, you can see there's another clip we can watch from Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO. We're seeing the birth of a new monetary system, the Bitcoin standard. This is probably like expanding on that last clip we just saw.
People think about our current financial system as kind of sacrosanct and it's the only way to do it. But, you know, if you study the history of money, really it's got created in like 1971 when Nixon went off the gold standard in the US, and we currently have the system where most central banks don't have any link to a hard commodity underneath. I think fiat currencies are going to continue to exist for a long time, but we're also seeing the birth of a new monetary system that I would call the Bitcoin standard instead of the gold standard. And in the crypto space, that is a return to sound money and something that is inflation resistant, because democracies around the world, once we came off the gold standard, are struggling to balance their budget. They're all running deficits, and it's caused inflation in fiat currencies. And so there is a real segment of the population that is looking for a new system based on hard money. People think about our current financial system.
Yeah, we'll see how Bitcoin translates into different countries' monetary systems. Like, obviously, like that last clip he was talking about, you could see like as like the top 10 fiat currencies survive and all the rest either get dollarized or turn to a Bitcoin kind of standard, which honestly makes the most sense if Bitcoin is less volatile than some of these other currencies in the world. But it would just make sense for if whole countries are switching to Bitcoin as a standard of standard currency, it definitely will lead to more growth, obviously, with millions and millions of new Bitcoin users and people getting exposed to Bitcoin. But we'll see how that continues to go. This was at the World Economic Forum, so we can see that. But here's the next clip. Scott Bessent says Trump may name Fed chair next week. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says President Trump could announce his next Federal Reserve chair as early as next week, speaking from Davos. The shortlist has narrowed from 11 candidates to 4, all of whom Trump has personally met with. Jerome Powell's term ends May 2026. The finalists, so the 4 finalists: Kevin Hassett, Director, National Economic Council, 10%. Christopher Walker, Federal Reserve Governor, 13%. Kevin Warsh, former Fed Governor, 46%. And Rick Rainder, BlackRock CIO, Global Fixed Income, 26%. Polymarket currently predicts that Kevin Warsh as the front runner. We can actually pull this up on Polymarket. Go full screen here. Top Polymarket predictions. We could honestly just go through some of these. Top prediction currently is the Super Bowl champions 2026. Currently, I guess a 4-man race. Third highest is Seattle, then New England and Los Angeles tied at the 27%, and then Denver at 7%. So this is the most popular. Will Trump acquire Greenland before 2027? 20% chance of a yes. So that's obviously with all this news. Okay, here it is. It's actually the third most popular Polymarket prediction, with $232 million in volume. Wow. Yeah, you can see it has like a bunch of people, but like after the first like 5, there's like 1%, and then after that it's less than 1%. So yeah, Kevin Warsh with 47%, up 13%, but Rick Reader at 26%, that's up 25%. So yeah, it looks like a heavy lean to Kevin Warsh. So we'll continue to see how this continues, and when this actually comes out, because yeah, I think it says here Jerome Powell's term ends May 2026. Yeah. Some other news, bullish news. Vanguard ETFs buy $680 million of MicroStrategy shares. The 12 trillion asset manager disclosed its ETF added $680 million in MSTR exposure over the past 2 weeks. People believe in MicroStrategy. I'm actually curious to see the MicroStrategy Bitcoin buys. This is on their website. The latest being the 20th. So this was yesterday. Yesterday they bought 22,000 Bitcoin, totaling, that brings them to 709,000 Bitcoin in total. So they bought, where's the dollar amount? BTC cost. Yeah, 2 billion, I believe. This is in terms of million cost of BTC accumulation. Would make sense, because like if you go 22, how much is that? 22,305 times, what is it, 89? Yeah, I guess it was about $2 million. Yeah, they continue to stack up their bags. Obviously, makes a lot of sense. They've been doing so well, and people are just still buying. There, we're gonna refresh, see if there's any new news. That was from like an hour or two ago. Ken Griffin says research shows U.S. tariffs have been paid for by American consumers and businessmen, meaning the revenue raised came from the expenses of the American people. Okay, Neymar acquires forecaster major deal. ARK Invest CEO Kathy Wood says Bitcoin bottom is in. This will be the shallowest decline in Bitcoin's history.
Short history. I know there's a lot of fear about the 4-year cycle. We didn't have much of an upcycle by Bitcoin standards, so we think we're pretty well through the down cycle here. We may test in this 80 to 90,000 range on Bitcoin, but we do think that the test will be successful. It will be the shallowest 4-year cycle decline in Bitcoin short history, and then we're off again. We think this is 3 revolutions in one: a global monetary system, rules-based, competing against fiat currency, to be sure. It is a technology revolution, and it is the leader of a new asset class. I know there's a lot of fear about.
It's like it's an interesting take, like saying how Bitcoin didn't move too much through the whole bull run. Like obviously it still definitely moved. Like if you look at the full chart, you're on a Bitcoin chart, the monthly here with this red line, this red dotted line being the Bitcoin halving. If you count straight from there, from 58 to 127, and a 90% increase, definitely decent. But like in comparison to like last cycle, if you count it right when it started, turn off the magnet right here, about 600%. Wow, yeah, that is actually very big. Obviously, like it's starting at 8K, going to 700%, all the way to 69K. Obviously is huge. The bigger the more Bitcoin is, obviously the harder for it to move. So yeah, like taking it from, I guess, right here up about 100%. About 100% move this cycle compared to a 700% move the next cycle. Like obviously if we see if we're going down proportionally, even if you see like a 50% move next cycle by here, and we're already at, let's say 100K, like at a minimum when the cycle starts, if we move 50%, like all the way to 150, it's not too crazy. Like if we do like a lot of people are calling for Bitcoin's like 4-year cyclical nature to like slow down, at least where it's not so much of a pump, or I guess here, pump, like having, pump, drop. Like you can see it here, having, pump, drop. And then here, obviously we'll see another one, pump, having, pump, and then now we're drop down. Obviously we're not drop down as big as before. I guess with less of a pump, obviously we're seeing less of a dump. So like if we play around in this 80 to 90K range for a while and then slowly creep ourselves back up towards the next halving, we'll see how that continues to go. But if we're seeing Bitcoin as more of a main asset, we can see it perform more like these index funds and traditional assets, where you're seeing a consistent yearly yield of like 10, 20, 30% of, depending on how Bitcoin performs. But like the higher Bitcoin goes and the more backing it has by people and governments and banks, you'll see it sort of like the spontaneous like nature of Bitcoin to slow down with more backing and higher pricing and everything. You'll see it less volatile as it normally is. This definitely, I would say, is a pretty good take that Bitcoin will this will be Bitcoin's shallowest decline in Bitcoin's history in like the 4-year standards, I guess. Bloomberg precious metal index is up 93% year to year. Haven't seen a move like that since 1980. Yeah, definitely a lot of takes going around. Hong Kong to issue the first stablecoin license in Q1, according to Financial Secretary Paul Chan. We view digital assets as a financial innovation that we should embrace proactively. Yeah, China's rightfully pushing Bitcoin as hard as they can. Obviously, Trump has been mentioning that he doesn't like it, but definitely this competition is definitely good for Bitcoin. Eric Trump, banks are blocking crypto bills. Big banks are doing everything that they can to stop crypto legislation. They've held an absolute monopoly over our financial system for years.
I mean, the big banks have been an absolute monopoly over our financial system for years. You and I have joked about it 1,000 times. You know, why can't you send a wire transfer past 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon? You know why? Because the big banks would love to take, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars and have it sit there and clip interest off of it over the course of a long weekend, you know, as opposed to letting you just efficiently move that money using modern day technology, you know, and have it in a separate wallet 2 seconds later. They want to be able to use their money. They want to be able to arbitrage their money. And so, you know, the big banks are doing everything they can to stop some of the crypto legislation for obvious reasons. Why? I mean,
definitely makes sense. Like, obviously, if Bitcoin is taking over the banking systems and people are trying to buy Bitcoin, use Bitcoin, it takes away from their power of monopolizing your money, using it, investing it, getting yield off it, getting interest off it. Like, Bitcoin's grown so much that like the banks can't ignore it, so they have to slowly start letting in this regulations. But obviously it's not in their benefit, obviously. Oops. 27. Okay, let me update this giveaway counter at the top. We are actually so close to here. I'll pull up we are very close to 50,000 subscribers. We're currently at 94.5. We are 500 subscribers away from 500 or 50K. Let me update this. Edit, filter, properties. Update this to 49. 50. 500 subs away. Currently, if you guys are looking for a giveaway, we currently are still running this giveaway task on. We're running a task on giveaway here. It's a completely free giveaway. Also, blockchain. Oh. If you go onto here, search up blockchain academics, it should pop up. Blockchain academics communities. Yeah, if you go to the community tab, blockchain academics, you go to our community over here. I'll drop this in the chat. It's a completely free giveaway we've been running. Drop that in the chat. We are in the next day or two, we are adding the next here, I'll make it easier for here. We're starting the next push. So this incentive was the last one. We're going to do, I think it's 500 USDT giveaway. So all you do is you go on task on, create a free account, join our community. Everything's completely free. And then you just do these tasks. So they're like very easy. You can literally bang these out in a couple minutes. Follow Twitter, visit our page, go to our Telegram, reply to our tweets, subscribe to our YouTube. It's all very simple. So you just do those, and then you'll be you can farm points, and the higher points, the better, the more you get. So this is a completely free giveaway that we're doing. So this will continue for a couple more months. So definitely stay tuned to this. And you have currently 55,000 people in the community, but it's definitely not, it's not hard to farm these points easily. They're quite easy. So yeah, currently, it was about. I'm gonna head. I'm gonna end the stream here. We are aiming on doing a lot more of these streams, and then we're gonna be trying out some different streaming methods. So in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna start a crypto show. It most likely will be a live show where we have a new set coming, where we're gonna go over things like we're doing today, like going over crypto news, crypto market, and then like a lot more in depth. We'll go over new protocols, new ICOs, new networks. We're going to be going over all that in a live format and then posting that to our YouTube as a show that you could watch at any point. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next time we stream. Should be in the next couple of days, and I should be posting a new YouTube video tomorrow. So yeah, see you guys next time.